I'm working.
Uh,
Feeling better.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party returned from Mibrisram back to the relative safety of the Tabedran lands. In tow, they brought with them Zephyr and Caleb's fathers, Caro's former party member, and, surprisingly, Dr. Knight herself, along with her assistant. After a few days of back and forth debating on the matter, the party has settled on a relative course of action. The Queen of Tabedra has been notified that, with Dr. Knight's aid, assuming that the king is capable of being saved by anyone, she can do it, provided she has access to the catalyst that stabilizes the Ichor virus. But in the interim, all is not well. The Scar Concord is hosting the next ball, and the war against Barbarous has come to an unfortunate stilling as the capital city is tightly held and their grip is not lessening at all. In the meantime, the party sets up plans of their own. Caleb intends to further his grip on power, having officially made his stance clear to his sister that not even for family will he abandon the throne or his people. And Zephyr, more seemingly out of a self-interest of furthering Caleb's plan. The elves, meanwhile, travel back out east to the Aegis Federation and the outskirts of Denouement to hire mercenaries. A proposal that hadn't exactly been off to a great start to begin with, made only worse when the dwarf realizes and reminds you that as a member of the Gunslingers Conclave, your wielding of Edict technology is incredibly offensive to him. These are his designs you're threatening him with.
I'm so glad you reminded me.
It wasn't a threat. It was just friendly, like, hey, look at this awesome thing we
Look at
found.
this
Why don't you try it?
I thought he was
Yeah.
giving it to him as like a gift or
Yeah,
something.
Metaphorical threat.
you can't help how.
No threat at all.
No, it's actually just an in-character thing that he's very paranoid, especially
Yeah,
regarding elves.
I
Well, at this
figured.
point, I'm going to make one a little bit shorter.
But all joking aside, we will pick back up with the Tabedrans.
Oh, good. That will give me a chance to grab my stuff.
Zephyr and Caleb.
Tense.
As the elves break away from you with you guys' confirmation that they're fine with the plan of hiring errant knights as mercenaries, the two of you make your way for your objective, the barracks of the town guard, as the captain has made his support for Caleb's ascension clear, as long as Zephyr continues to support that. Making your way to the opposite side, along one of the long houses lining the wall back whenever this city was still just a military fortification. You can hear from the chatter inside of the long building that there are definitely people inside, from the sounds of it having some sort of get-together or party. But Caleb, do you wish to simply knock or just walk in and see who approaches you?
So we're at the guard place?
Yeah, you're at the barracks, and it sounds like there's some kind of party going on.
I guess. I guess Caleb will knock, not to surprise them or anything.
All right. Giving a knock against the barracks door. You hear the cheerfulness dim and quiet somewhat, although it sounds like it's more from the kind of whispered urgings of a voice that's growing closer to the door. Quiet, quiet, shush. And chuckling, the door is thrown open by a unfamiliar figure. A dwarvish man from the looks of him. A not unimpressive beard, but it's got that kind of mutton choppy effect to it, and it's already got some silvery to it, so he appears like he's getting up there in years. And if it weren't for the wool cap on his head, it may be even harder to miss the fact that from the looks of it, for a dwarf, he's a bit thin in the hair department. His eyes are somewhat dark and beady, his nose a little crooked as if he's been in a fight, and he's wearing these hand wrappings instead of gloves. From the looks of it, Zephyr, with the way his fingers are locked together beneath one of them, it appears he may have broken his hand recently. And he leans on a small dwarven cane as he looks the two of you up and down before his eyes glint in recognition. You can see he has a pair of glasses, and he steps back and gives a ear-piercing whistle to deeper in the barracks, and everyone stops and pays attention. Hey, boys! The princess came here to say hello! And you hear a wave of cheers from the guards, and the dwarf steps aside and gives a bow to the two of you. Come on in, come on in.
Also, by the way, 17 on history to know who the dwarf is.
Caleb, while you have not seen him face to face, you are familiar with the man. He is a dwarven Tabedran who has basically been running... I say running the barracks, that implies he has any sort of formal position. As mentioned, the guards of Tabedra are hardly a well-liked sort. As a result, they are rather desperate for support. It is only the royal family who typically directly pays and encourages them. They do a very necessary and difficult job, and no one in Tabedra really appreciates that, with the exception of people like this guy, merchants who ordinarily would have been victims of Tabedra, having found a way to make the system work for them. By simply paying the guards, this dwarf has access to pretty much the run of patrols in case he wants to do heists in Tabedra. And that also gives him a not insignificant amount of manpower to shut down less, let's call them well-intentioned thieves. You know that this dwarf typically deals in stolen goods and typically goes only by Noah.
Noah?
Yeah. Like the boat guy, Noah.
Okay. Caleb's just like, so you must be Noah. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of meeting you in person.
He says like the boat guy. Oh my god. I want you to know I did say something when you said that, but I realized I was muted.
No worries. And Noah gives you a smirk, Caleb, and that's a little bit of intention. He gives a grin. I find it's not the smartest idea to be on the bad side of the people whose money runs through their veins like blood. You don't have a problem with my little side hustle, do you?
As long as it doesn't get in the way of anything, I don't see any problem.
Never in the way, Your Majesty. This is... we are professionals here. Professionals. He gives you a wide grin and allows you to entry and shuts the door. Come in, come. Always a treat to have the nobility here. What can we do you for?
Well, we heard that there was some issue with break-in. I thought maybe we could offer some insight.
The break-in. Probably should put you up to talk to General Volpine about that. Hey, Shabay! Over here! His Kingliness wants to speak with you. Zephyr, you see the familiar Saurian give a wide grin. You can see he's in the back of the barracks, a Tabedra girl on either side of him, looking at him adoringly as he has an arm on either of them. Cigar in one hand, glass of what you presume to be cider in the other. But he simply whispers something to the girls and stands up to lumber his way over to the three of you. And Noah goes to attend to other customers once General Vulpine sits, but Caleb, you can tell he's keeping his ear to the conversation, definitely paying attention. And the general looks down to the two of you with a wide, kind of unsettling grin. And
Pretty sure that's his resting state, right?
yes, very much so. So, you come to find me again. Are we ready to march on the castle, then? Make a meal out of Mommy and Daddy?
Not quite yet, but I did, speaking of the castle, I did hear there was a bit of a break-in of sorts, and considering I may be spending a lot of time there in the future, I thought we should... Maybe I could help shore this up a little bit.
Oh, well, that's right kingly of you, my lord. He taps his finger and Noah slides him another glass, and he sips through both of his in very fast motions. Ugh. But believe you me, none of us are stopping what's sneaking in there.
Do you have an idea who it is?
I don't just think, I know. You know things in my line of work. He takes a puff on the cigar thoughtfully and looks to the two of you. You ever hear the stories of the Wolfhound?
Alright, history check. 17.
You've heard the story, but it's just that, a story. It's supposedly some mythical character, sort of a Paul Bunyan of sorts. See, Yav is a land where assassination is right up there with old age for ways you are likely going to die. And there is no shortage of people who are capable of it. Doctors can blow you up with inflict wounds. Elvish barbarians can beat you to death with plasma gauntlets. A kobold could steal your still beating heart out of your chest. Of course, a young boy could be trained to be an assassin. Assassins or people with their skill sets are a dime a fucking dozen in Yav. So, after a while, there started to be stories of a very special assassin. One to whom any number of important deaths could be traced. But few, if any, have ever seen them. All they know is that they use the same weapon and go by the same title. The Wolfhound. All of their targets are found killed by an arrow that's barbed at the tip. But the Wolfhound is fictional. It's just a story people came up with to explain the mysterious deaths of various regions. After all, if you were a servant who poisoned your king, would it not seem like a better story that some terrifying super assassin had snuck into the castle and killed your ruler, rather than simply admit the truth, that most kings don't die by the blade, but because their chefs turned on them?
Honestly, though, Caleb was probably a kid when he heard these stories, so he probably fully fucking believed them.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that as far as your adult mind knows, there is no such fucking thing as a wolfhound. It's just servants lying so that they don't get in trouble.
Do you think it's real?
I know it's real.
Oh my god, I used to read his stories all the time when I was learning.
No less friendly than the stories make him out to be. He puts a thumb on the hem of his pants and kind of pulls at them lightly. Back before I ended up here, used to take the highest paying contracts. Finally got the contract to go after him. Took it, managed to find him. Not so much the catching part.
He got away.
Yeah, took a little piece of me with him too. And he pulls down the hem of his pants very lightly, and Zephyr, you and Caleb can see a triangular barbed scar right near where one of his kidneys would be. I tried to take a hostage, protect myself. That lunatic shot right through them to get to me. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So yeah. Guess your sister or your dad must have pissed off the wrong person and pulled the wrong kind of attention. Because the wolfhound's after you. And if the wolfhound's after you, you're dead. No argument.
You said you gotta look
But
at
then
him.
why is nobody dead right now?
My guess is maybe he's scoping the place out. Trying to get a feel for how he's going to make his kill.
What do they even? What do they look like?
He gives a roll of the head, and they wear a whole full body getup. Didn't get a very good look, except for the hair. They're a blondie.
Interesting.
But they're an assassin. Could just be a wig. Who's to say? Everything else is completely covered toe to tip.
To be honest, all things considered, I'm not certain how I feel about this.
Either I'm just some crackpot making up stories and you can ignore me. He takes a drag. Or the Reaper is after you. And you best start saying your prayers now and hope that you aren't on the contract.
Do you think he would? Well, there's only one group I could think of who would hire him to kill me, unless Summers got very angry.
You think the Wolfhound is involved?
You think it's possible he would have taken a contract from the Concord?
Well, certainly possible.
I doubt it's a secret that I intend to have Tabedran participate in the alliance against him.
Hardly. Guess they're trying to shut you down early. But congratulations. That means that your plan might work, theoretically. Now you just need to live long enough to execute it. Speaking of execution, he puts the cigar back in his mouth and orders another drink. What's the plan?
Well, right now I hope it's not too much of a disappointment, but I may have a way to do this without too much bloodshed. Oh, sorry, you must understand. Tabedran is a precarious situation. You know what a thief's instinct is to do whenever the fight comes.
Well, I suppose I knew what I was signing up for. All right. He puts his hands up and leans back against the bar.
If we're in quite the situation. The Queen will be back in a week to see if we actually have a solution. She has made it clear that it's either going to end with a solution, one way or another.
Yeah, never much knew her to tolerate failure.
So, but there is one way that it could end peacefully. If that way turns out to not be possible, then, well, I have a feeling there will only be one solution at that point.
Seems like it. Should I be keeping an eye whenever you do this little handoff? Be ready to bite some fingers if they start getting frisky. He gives you a grin.
Possibly, I have some plans for how it could go. I'm not 100% certain of what Summer is going to do in this matter. I tried talking to her, but she has a misguided but still strong desire for the throne.
That's the thing about those fancy chairs and the fancy castles. Never met anybody who could just walk away from it. Except for you. And he gestures to you with a grin, Zephyr.
Well, they are. I think a lot of people don't realize how much trouble they can be.
Oh, I know
I
it.
tried to convince her of that, but I don't know if I got through.
Wouldn't worry about it. Takes a drink. You spend your whole life being told you're better than everyone else. Eventually you start to believe it. Well, is that all you came to see me for?
Yeah, I thought we could maybe offer some help. Me and Zephyr are quite good at sneaking ourselves. We could, but it seems like you have this pretty well figured out. If you want, we can maybe give suggestions of the best ways to get in. Maybe watch them a little closer.
Much as I want to say that I can handle this myself, I admit I wouldn't dislike the help. As far as I know, the Wolfhound is still human. Or close enough to it, anyway. There has to be a way for them to get in. I just don't know how they're doing it.
Do we have a map of the castle? I can maybe point out some areas I know are good ways in.
He snaps his fingers at a nearby soldier who stands at attention. Fetch us a map of the castle. We're going to catch the Wolfhound. General, that's not possible. You have your orders, don't you? Get. As the soldier walks off.
Caleb's like, if you ever need someone to second an order, I got you.
Thanks, little man. Luckily, these people tend to listen to the biggest guy in the yard. The soldier brings him his map and he unfurls it. All right, what are you thinking?
Okay, so can I roll, like, I don't know, can I look at the map and, like, use a stealth check to be like, these are the ways I would get in?
I'll allow that, yeah. Just make sure you don't apply the bonuses you would normally be getting for, like, audio from your Cloak of Elvenkind or something.
That's just
as
advantage.
long as it's your base stealth, yeah.
Yeah, that's just advantage.
Yeah, so I can't use my advantage because it's not sound-based or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a theoretical
stealth. But I also can't, because I'm not, what's the step above proficient?
Expertise.
Yeah, because I'm expertise, as long as I don't roll a 1, I probably will do pretty well. It's going to be a 27.
All right. Caleb, looking over the map.
Is there like a maybe like writing utensil? And do they need this map, or are they okay if he marks it?
Seeing your hesitation, the man hands you a inkwell and quill, and giving you a smirk. Make all the mess you want, little one. We have plenty.
Alright, Caleb will go ahead and mark the ways he thinks are the best ways to get in based on his role.
All right. So giving that for your reference, just so you in character know as well, and Zephyr, since you're seeing him mark the map. Caleb, you of course know about the secret entrance through the well. Your little delinquent friends take that frequently. The front door is always guarded. However, if someone could get past the guards, the back door through the back garden could actually be a big security risk. You know that in the back garden there is the cellar door that leads down into the dungeons. While there isn't a way back up into the castle from there, it could still be a potential hiding spot to just wait out the patrols and then move in once the coast is clear. And of course, you and Zephyr both have broken into the castle by climbing up the gargoyles and infiltrating the king's bedroom when he's either sick or not even there. While his door is barred, it's not a stretch to imagine that if you guys could do it, this mysterious wolfhound could, as long as he had a way to get past the security.
I guess like as he'll like round up that one, like if he's confident, which I'd imagine he is, he could just take that route of just kind of free forming it.
So the way I'm hearing it is he'll either come at us from behind, either now or later, from the roof or from the well.
Those are at least the areas I have most noted in my time. Do you wish to add anything, Zephyr?
No. I'm not really worried about what this wolfhound has to do, so just here to bodyguard, I guess.
He gives a bit of a shrug, and that's all I can think of. I didn't even know about a few of these. I'll increase patrols. Let's hope that's enough. Is there anything else the two of you would like to request of the guards while you're here?
Caleb was gonna just out of curiosity, were like the king and heir's rooms usually like have like at least a guard or two near them?
Yes, yeah, your rooms would be guarded.
Caleb wants to ask if the guards remember anything on an basically similar to what he asked Summer. Or what happened to the guards, if anything at all. If there are like any days where they were missing or the king asked them to be removed.
At this, Sherbet actually just gives a outright laugh. And you have a very kind image of the king if you think he's giving us days off. No, especially on the winters. Our patrols were constant, never got a break. Especially when it came to guarding his most precious weapons. So, if any guard was slacking, it definitely wasn't on my orders or my knowledge.
And no guards ever reported hearing anything?
He kind of shakes his head. Not that I can recall.
Very well. Just a little curiosity I've been pursuing. Hold on, wrong accent. Just a little curiosity I've been pursuing.
He kind of gives you a nod and a small wave of the hand.
You know what's funny? I still remember the first night I stayed in that castle. I had such a hard time with that. Just you know how some of those rooms are. They're so big.
They say the castle's haunted.
Yeah, I heard those stories too. And so I actually asked one of the guards at my door to stand inside the room while I slept.
Yeah, the guards always like being assigned to you.
Why was that?
Relatively easy job, and you're a small, precocious little thing. I suspect they wanted to eat you.
Probably wouldn't taste good.
Yeah, all skin and bones.
I'm probably pretty stringy.
He takes another puff of the cigar and finally extinguishes it. Well, if that'll be everything, then I have a few dates to get back to.
Very well. I'll leave y'all to your I'm trying to think of a word. It was like you said it was like a party, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're just
Festivities?
celebrating something. You're not sure what.
What is the occasion, out of curiosity?
Honestly, the fact that for the first time some of us are getting days off.
Really?
Yeah, with the king in the cell and the queen off who knows where. The only people giving us orders are you and your sister. And your sister, frankly, can't be bothered. And outside of you occasionally coming with requests for information and trying to kiss ass from what I hear. Overall, things are looking up for us.
Excuse me. I'm just trying to be polite.
I know what you trying to be polite looks like, Caleb.
What does he mean by that?
He kind of looks to you, Caleb, with a hand on his knee, and to his credit, his expression actually does soften somewhat. And you know, in that whole castle of people just like you were the only one who didn't look at me and my brothers like we were monsters. That, that is you being polite. But
Well,
I can't judge. Your position, you got to politic a little bit. I won't say anything if you don't. As long as Zephyr doesn't change his mind, we won't either.
very well. I'm glad I made some kind of good impression on everybody.
He kind of gives a small nod of the head and stands up off of the bar stool and stretches a bit. And eventually begins to take his leave. You can see Noah kind of tapping the counter, but while he attempts to just look busy and make it look like he hadn't been eavesdropping, he's definitely processing everything he just heard.
Anything interesting?
Well, you learn all kinds of things once you learn who the right people to listen to are. For instance, I just discovered that the Wolfhound is here in Rosewick.
Maybe don't try to spread that information too quickly. You know how people can be.
I know what it takes to survive in this business. Loose lips sink ships, and I could never betray an old friend like that.
Well, I wish you well for your entertainment.
And give your uncle my regards.
Very well. And Caleb will exit the building, having provided some assistance, learned some things.
All right. Lucian.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Lucian, what's his? The colorfully dressed dwarf holds Colonel Gyoger at gunpoint. The rest of the disgraced knights have their weapons ready but not fully to bear, as they seem like they're trying to figure out how the situation's about to go down. As
I'm just gonna like kind of raise my hands and like surrender. I can see that we have you. That's what's not.
the dwarf just kind of gives a humorless smirk and scoff and looks to what's his. Now, honest answer. Where did you get this?
And if we tell you, you still gonna shoot us? What guarantee do we have that we'll walk out of this?
I'll just kind of place myself in front of him. Edict. We got it an edict.
Good girl. But and he lifts the pistol up to point in the sky and fires it once in the air and gives a But you also have my word. On my honor as a mercenary. It would do us no good to kill potential clients. But I will warn you, do not want to earn the ire of the Gunslingers Conclave. So I suggest you do not carry our weapons like they belong to you.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I can fully say that, to my knowledge, I don't really have any of your weapons. I'll look over to Wes's and see if he has any that I can immediately spot.
She sees axe, because there's that. But it's not a gun, so.
I'll
kinda-
kind of like eye the axe and then meet his eyes and just kind of give him a "it's really your call" kind of face.
What sect did you steal all this from?
We have no idea. And that's the honest answer.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing down there.
Down there. I've never heard the name.
Underdark.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. You gave me some leads to chase. That much I'm grateful for. But I hope you don't expect that to be a substitute for money in our negotiations. And he
I never said
finally
it was.
holsters the laser pistol. Not seeming like he intends to return it, but he does continue to kind of glare suspiciously at your axes and other edict weaponry.
Well, I've only got the
I'll
one
just
axe left.
put my hand down. Of course, it's no replacement for money. But, you know, you were saying that we are desperate, and that is true. But with how things are going, everybody is about to be desperate.
Yeah, we also helped your queen.
Eh?
The
Yeah, look at
people.
what's it like, what the fuck?
Remember the girl we saved down there?
I'll be right back.
From Aegis. This mercenary group, technically, is part of her country.
Oh, are you talking about Aurora?
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Talking
Aurora was
about
not leading a
that's not
mercenary
right.
group. She was leading a actual
Yeah, a rebellion.
yeah,
but
like a
you
ninth
said that.
order.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I'll
said
just
that
be
the
like,
Knight's Order was
I'll
part
look at
of her
him
country.
apologetically. He's confused. He's all muscle and no brain. I'm sure you understand.
Wait. You keep talking.
Well, Aurora, isn't she one of your rulers?
Aurora Blackmont.
Correct.
Yes.
Aurora Blackmont is dead. Although I suppose so are you.
She is very much alive.
I
And
can
back on the
guarantee.
throne.
Yep. We helped her.
At this, you can see the other knights start looking at each other with interest. And even the dwarf, for his part, while he seems less immediately taken, does kind of stroke his beard in thought. Interesting.
When we met her, she was tied up and a prisoner, and I had to make sure she was okay.
He looks to the other knights, one who had not spoken yet, appears to be an older man with silvery hair, but a very kindly, if aged, expression on his face. Sir, it is with all due respect that I do think that it may be worth pursuing this. If the Blackmont family line is still intact, there's a chance for us to regain our honor. Haven't thought about that in a long time.
I'm sure she would be very happy to see all of you.
Happy is a strong word. Let's just hope her daddy didn't tell her too much about the kind of people we are.
Sadly, from what I heard, he didn't last long enough.
Well, in that case, we're definitely in business.
Lucian just gives a smile.
All right. You've all... he kind of rolls his hands over each other. Got my interest. You say you're interested in hiring mercenaries? What are you willing to pay?
How many do y'all have?
He gives you a grin and... Let's make this a bit easier on ourselves, eh? I can give you untrained squires for cheap, but they're more bodies than they are training. If you want a proper trained knight, that's not going to be cheap.
What are your demands? What do you want?
He kind of...
Money, of course.
Of course he wants money, but how much do you want?
You want a squire? Or something along those lines?
We
He
need
kinda...
someone more better trained. We're going
We
up
need
against the military.
all the help we
You've heard of Barbarous?
Barbarous. Yeah, a familiar name.
Yeah, we're taking the bastard down.
The only thing I want is for him to go down.
Oh. The two of you are funny.
Where he took down a
Would
few of the other
rather that
board.
because he doesn't think so.
He kind of thinks for a moment, kind of mulling over his options a bit. Okay. If you want my best knights, fully trained, armed literally to the teeth, ready to tear apart Barbarous and his armies, 111 gold per night, per day.
Can my big brain calculate how much we need? Big math brain.
Over how long a period of time?
How
Let me think.
you're better at this than I am.
How long would it how long would it take to get back to get them
It wouldn't take
to
It's
Phaedra?
there. Phaedra, I can just work. I could just, teleport us there.
Well, I thought you were gonna do it like once a day.
Let's see. It's a 5th level spell, right?
I mean,
I have the spell slot. I have all of my spell slots. So I can do
wait,
it.
how do you have all your spell slots?
Yeah, you
I
would have
don't
had
know.
you would
Just cast your spell.
yeah.
had
So you're missing at least one spell slot.
Okay. I need to see something here.
But if she can get us there quickly, let me think.
It's a
Do I
6th
know
level spell.
how long it would take to march from Tabedra to Barbarous?
To Barbarous, that would be bare minimum probably like a 2-day march, and that's assuming you don't get slowed down for like any reason.
Okay,
so we'll
this
say
is a
4.
level spell.
Is it what level
Can
spell?
I upcast?
6.
Can I upcast it at all?
Let me check.
I don't know if it's one of those that I can upcast because if I use it to get here, I already have that spell slot taken up. But if I can cast it, I can do it at 7th level, or we can just wait for the morning. Because it's going to take him some time to gather up the army anyway, so. Even if I can't upcast it, we could probably use that to our advantage. It's okay if I can't. It's okay.
Well, I'm mostly just I can't actually find the spell on your spell list.
Well, because it's remember how it is.
Oh right, yeah, it's a spell book thing.
It's a thing.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
thing. It's a thing.
It's a thing. But I already used the slot, but I don't know if I can upcast it. But if I can't upcast it, that's okay.
As long as you ritual cast it, yeah.
Okay, that would be fine. I'll look to the others. How much time do you need to gather everyone?
Well, that depends on how many are being hired. What's the word, big man?
Let's say 450. Well, let me, hang on. I'm trying to get my days. I'm really having trouble with this math.
Okay, how many days are you wanting to hire them for?
Okay, how about this? I'll give you a certain amount of gold, and I'll say 3 weeks.
I'll help. I'll help in the gold department
So-
if I need to.
So it's 3 weeks. That would be
21 days. So that's 2,331 gold per night per day. Or like for that time period.
okay. So
This is too much math.
You hired mercenaries.
All right, I'm back. What I miss?
Math.
What's his is hiring those mercenaries.
Yeah, a lot of math.
So
Altogether, altogether, all of my coinage is 6,000.
yeah,
That's all I have.
keep yours. So he'll pull out 60,000. If you'll do 60,000, I'll take 30, and that's with this very small discount, if you don't mind. But you get paid right now up front.
Indeed, he looks over the coinage, kind of considers it. He definitely seems tempted. Roll persuasion.
Ooh, guidance.
Got a D4. Got it.
Doesn't sound very good.
Just helping him a little.
I
There's no
know,
rule
but
against it.
you're casting a spell.
Yeah, I'm just giving him a good old pat on the back.
You'll pat him back
Like,
and just
oh, look at you! Your big brain actually works. She's totally teasing.
Yeah, because
Is
we
that
all
a
know
spell
there's
slot
nothing
every
there.
time?
Guidance is a cantrip. That's why it's used
Okay.
a lot.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah, it's one of those like spells that a lot of people use.
All right, what's his persuasion?
23.
Eventually, he kind of gives a small nod and holds out his hand to you.
Hmm.
You have a deal, Colonel. 60,000 gold. You get 30 nights for 3 weeks.
I will pass him the gold, and I will work on taking that off.
As soon as the deal is struck, he turns to the older-looking man who had spoken earlier and kind of picking at his ear casually. Assemble the men. And he turns to you. What's his? Shall we meet you on the war front, or would you have another place in mind?
Well, my friend here has a way to teleport people if she's able. We'll be able to get y'all there a whole lot quicker.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it today, but I'm gonna have to take a nap later.
All right. And where exactly is it you're taking us?
The
Or
base
them,
would
I
start
should say.
with.
Oh, you hear that, boys? We're working for thieves.
Hold on. Wait,
Do
you
I
might
look
want
like
to
a thief?
send a message of warning, maybe.
We have already told him that we were
Yeah, you
buying
guys agreed to this.
mercenaries.
Yeah, they should let them do
Did
their
he
thing.
say you were bringing them right outside the city, with nobody else knowing?
Well, That is
Maybe
their
we should
decision.
meet them on the war front. Don't you think that would be more like efficient or whatever? I'm not a tactician, but that just kind of seems more logical to me.
Well, we'll get them to Tabedran, and then they can head to the war front, and you'll just let your girlfriend know they're on the way.
That's fair.
All right. Well, you take that nap of yours then. My men will be getting assembled. I will not be accompanying you. I have a very good reason.
I'm sure you do. I don't. I'm not even gonna question it. All right. I guess I will prepare everything.
All right. And while you do that, and the knights split off to start readying the knights for their first mission since the war, the dwarf comes back up to you, still kind of looking at you cautiously, and the contract's already been accepted. I know I'm not exactly entitled to an honest answer, nor do I expect one, but I still feel the need to ask out of professional courtesy. He squints and leans a bit. Did you kill the dwarf that made these?
Oh, no, we did not get them from a dwarf.
Eh?
Let's just say the people who have them now found them in an old abandoned dwarven city. There were no dwarfs to be seen.
Typical squatters. Find something we leave behind, next thing you know, oh, it's ours. There's nobody here. He rattles off a series of curses in Dwarvish. That situation is getting corrected. And soon.
Well, just make sure you don't let them know who told you, because we kind of, told them we would never say anything.
Professional courtesy, my friend. You don't know my name, I don't know yours.
Exactly.
So long, Colonel Gyoga. Please do treat my men gently.
Oh, that's not me they have to worry about. They'll be answering to Agnes Sundragon.
The warrior bitch herself?
Yep.
I might actually stick
I'm
around
so
to watch.
proud of Lucy's mother.
Well, we'll just have to see how that plays out. A half-blood leading a bunch of disgraced knights into battle. With a presumably dead general and scholar leading the charge.
With a bunch of thieves, if things work out. It'll be a very interesting battle.
Oh, the world truly is coming to an end. Alright.
The Western Alliance is kind of a... Just realized it's kind of a real patchwork armed force.
Yeah. You've got barbarians, sorcerers, fighters, and rogues who are not actually participating yet. Another faction of rogues. And you're currently fighting a bunch of inquisitors. And the adventurers that everything is orbiting around are a bunch of disgraced and thought to be dead nobility.
Yep.
I mean, Caleb was never really thought to be dead. Technically. He knew what was going to happen. As in the king did.
He did.
Well, and technically he
I
thought
will.
he was dead, so technically.
Lucian, if I recall correctly, transport via plants lasts for 6 seconds. So,
I thought it lasts for a minute.
Tell him run, run. No, I think it's 60 seconds actually.
No, it's 6.
It's one round.
1 round.
Okay.
6 seconds.
Thank
That's what I
you.
thought.
Yeah, so everyone just
So you
got.
might want to go get a rest so you can do this in batches,
Yeah.
depending on how many of them there are.
Yeah, they ordered
Yeah,
30, so we
I'll
need to
take
get
a.
32 people back.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will send a message to Caleb and keep him in the loop of what is happening and all of
No.
that.
But now, just get into combat, roll initiative, roll either incredibly high or incredibly low, and be like, hey, or actually just be like, it doesn't matter. Then be like, hey, everyone's turn, go in 6 seconds. Technically, you know.
Technically.
Just
That,
slug one of the soldiers. Okay, we're in combat. Go, go.
all right, so to transport all of the mercenaries and yourselves back to Rosewick via transport, that will take you. 6 castings in total. How many can you do in a day?
I can do 2 maybe.
Well, if you're taking 5th and 6th, or if you're allowed,
Yeah, if I can up past it. That if I do it as a ritual, does it take a slot?
no, but
It doesn't take a slot, but it does take longer to cast it.
yeah, mainly it just takes
Okay,
10
yeah,
minutes
so I'll
longer,
just
but it's just not a
I'll just
ritual
use
spell.
it as much as I need to take
Well, yeah, but
increments of
yeah, as Austin points out, transport via plants isn't a ritual spell.
Okay. So I'll do the
All right,
an
so
increment.
yeah, so if it's 2 castings a day, that means you can cast it basically after 6 days, 6 days, 3 days.
3.
Yeah, because I was thinking 6 transportation. Sorry. So after 3 days, you will be finished and return to Rosewick.
Can
Well,
she
Sounds good.
upcast it to get
That's-
more
that's-
duration?
No, not
I-
upcasting.
that
It just
way.
lets you use it, even if you. There's no actual effect for upcasting this one. Frankly, probably to avoid people doing this exact thing.
Probably.
Just send an army.
Yeah, literally instantly teleport an army anywhere, just as long as there's plants.
Lucian's gonna be
Right,
one
so like
tired
a
little
slug.
Trying to
girl.
attack someone in the desert.
Cactus. All right.
Starting to feel like a slime over here.
Do either of you have anything you would like to do in Errant while you're there, or are you just gonna help with the troop preparation, see off your mercs, and meet them in Rosewick once you've got the teleportation down?
Yep, I'm just gonna do my job.
Yeah, nothing else to really do. Got what we
Alright.
needed.
Did they
And
send
of
that
course
message to Caleb?
Nope.
yeah, of course I'll update Caleb and I'll update Aggie
Hello.
Okay.
since I have those spell slots anyway, and I'm already resting. So
Alright. Caleb, you, as well as the Queen Sun Dragon, are informed that the mercenary deal has gone through. The mercenaries will be arriving in Rosewick over the course of 3 days before Lucian and What's-His return with them, and they will be ready to join the war front. While there are not that many of them, they are all trained paladins who are loyal to the Blackmont family. Or at the very least, loyal to any cause that pays them well and gives them a chance to regain their honor.
yeah, no,
Okay,
and those
so
are the
there's
words
gonna be
that
about
she
30
uses.
of them.
One more time, Caleb, sorry?
So there's about 30 of them.
Yes.
Alright, did Caleb get that message like right after he exited the barracks?
Yeah, I'll say that, yeah, like, they had to transport there, find him. So, yeah, I'll say, yeah, by the time your conversation in the barracks is wrapping up and you're leaving, that's when the message comes through.
Okay, Caleb is gonna go back in and warn the general that this is about to happen. Basically, so that nobody gets the wrong idea.
Yeah, there's no confusion and friendly fire. All right. The general gives you a nod.
Okay, it would just be like, yeah, the elf general. He decided to go hire some mercenaries for that war going on. They're going to be arriving probably in the forest. So if you see about 30 people in a group all armed and dangerous, don't panic.
I hope you don't expect me to do that for every group I see.
Well, they're a bunch of like knights and shit like that, so you'll probably recognize them.
Eh.
They apparently are well known for losing a war.
I think I know what you're talking about, and the problem wasn't that they lost. The problem was what they lost on the way to winning.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, just
H-
keep an eye
How
out
to
for about
how to
30
ship a
of them.
mercenaries, huh?
Make sure our patrols know to expect that and not, panic.
Uh, Thank you for letting me know. I'll pass word along.
Yeah, you'd like. I had just found out. They just sent me the message as I was walking out.
Pieces are going to be moving all over. You're going to have to get used to that.
Yeah, I know. But it's what I wanted, and it's what I need to do.
Let's hope it stays that way.
And now Caleb will leave.
All right. Tabedrans, do either of you have any particular business you'd like to get up to before Lucian and What's his return?
Caleb wanted to go. Wanted to go find Dimitri. So
Okay.
he's gonna tell Zephyr that he can go ahead and go back.
Zeph, that good with you?
Yeah, I mean, he has no reason to stick around if he doesn't want them. But what is my father doing? Father doing?
All right. Zephyr returning to the Bear's Lodge, and Caleb making your way to Dimitri's hideout. Zephyr.
Makes sense. Zephyr hasn't had a lot of screen time today.
As you make your way back into your room, you see that your father is simply lying in bed. He has been for the past day or two. He's okay. He's recovering, but after near decade or longer of suffering and sickness, his body is still kind of piecing itself back together. But he is definitely more awake and coherent than he had been while leaving Mybastrom. And as you enter, he kind of blearily opens his eyes to look at you, and you can see a warm, if faint, smile across his face as he lays eyes on you, and kind of fights to sit up in his bed and lean against the headboard to smile at you. There you are.
Yes.
Your friend came in looking for you earlier.
Oh, what was his friend doing?
He just said he had something he wanted to give you. I just told him where your little pack was.
Yeah, I'll worry about that later. How are you feeling?
Better since you found me. I'm getting stronger. Everything's coming back to me now. But I need time. I'm still very cold. He kind of bundles himself up in the blankets a little bit more and rests his chin on them to continue looking at you without holding up his head. But enough about me. What about you? You were away for so long. I wasn't even sure if you were alive. Where have you been?
We'll see where we are right now. Just this city.
You found a place among them. These Terrans.
Sure. A place would be. Not sure if I call it that, but
He gives you a smile and you certain? You have friends. From what I hear, you have family. Your new mother's coming to see us soon, isn't that right? That sounds exciting. I'm sure
Yes.
she'll be very happy to see you.
That is yet to be determined. She's not someone to disappoint. So hopefully I
Well,
don't.
then you have nothing to worry about then. And he gives you a smile. May I ask you something, son?
What?
I'd asked you when we were still in there, but you told me that it wasn't a good time. Why did you come for me? You never knew me. I certainly was never there for you. And I assure you I would have been if the circumstances had been better, but I just want to know why. Why come looking for me?
Well, I mean, wouldn't you have done the same?
Of course. But you're my son. You don't owe me anything. I would take care of you because that's what I'm meant to do. I'm a father before I'm anything else.
And I'm a son.
A son's job should be to play with his friends and become a good boy when he grows up. They shouldn't be having to plot and scheme to get their wasteful father out of prison. That's not the
Well,
life I would have wanted for you. What your mother or I would have wanted for you.
plotting and the scheming was gonna happen anyways. Just the town that we're in is all about.
Well, at least it wasn't all bad. They clearly didn't change you too much.
Too much.
I can definitely see your eyes are different than they used to be. The world hasn't been kind to either of us. It's not ours. What do you intend to do now that you found me?
To make sure you're okay. And if it's not too much trouble, may I see your hand?
Oh, yes, of course. He slowly lifts up and holds out a small, skinny little red hand.
You gotta do a black blood check.
Well, technically, should it'd be odd if he didn't have blood, considering that he was a carrier. But I will have a dagger or something small. Don't want to hurt Papa.
Cute.
Yeah, rapiers.
Except forgetting he's got sharp teeth, you could just bite him.
That sounds. I have a rapier. It's just a little poker.
Beep.
Yeah. Just be like, I'm gonna bite on you and be like,
Stop
oh,
pin prick.
start eating my dad.
I remember seeing a movie ages ago where a character said, "Just stop pin prick." I can't remember what fucking movie it was.
I feel like it's like a Cinderella movie, maybe.
So yeah, you're gonna give him a good poke with the rapier and see how the blood goes?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it'd be weird if it wasn't.
Zephyr, confident in your assertion, you give a very light, cautious poke. Your father, for his part, simply doesn't react. His hand bleeds, but it bleeds brown.
What?
What?
Was there something you were expecting?
Mm,
I'm sure you have a good reason. I bleed just like anyone else, I suppose.
no, you do. Not nowadays. Not really. But yes, he will show off his. He will prick himself, showing off.
He looks at the blood with this like reverence in his expression, and you can see his gaze is genuinely on the point of tears. All energy seeming returned to him, he crawls out of his little blanket cocoon towards you and stares at your hand enraptured and gently takes it and runs a paw through the blood. You did inherit it.
Inherit what?
It's an honor, typically only known to the highest ranking members of our people. That's right, you never got to live among us. You see, we don't come from here. Have you ever seen anyone like you?
Well, not in the sense someone that changed their shape to look similar to me, but otherwise, no.
You and I come from beyond. Our people ride on the back of a great dragon that soars through the cosmos. From its body, its blood, its sweat, we survive. And our world saw fit to bless some of us with a gift in our blood. It allows the reformation of the self to elevate above your status. I've even heard it said that many of our kind who receive it and end it with the gift of flight.
Oh.
Your mother was one such carrier. But creating you took everything she had. I thought her gift would have been lost with her. But with you, it survives.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. You're hurt.
wow. This is kind of normal for me, as tend to. You'd say that I've been told that I might be the main carrier of this whatever disease that's been going out around.
Wait. So this thing that you're fighting, that's what it is. They're using our gift.
Seems that way.
What does it do to the Terran people? They're not adapted to it like we are.
It seems as though for some, turns them into creatures, monsters, things that wishes to simply mindless beast. But there are a rare few who can seem to adapt to it just fine and can, they usually though don't come out the same.
My, that's awful. I can't believe this. But it's all right. You have the gift. That means our world, our God, blessed you. And I believe it blessed you for a reason, Zephyr. Your mother and I, we decided on that name because we wanted you to be something we weren't. She had the gift, but she settled down for a little bottom rung scale sucker like me. And you took over 9 years to do what I should have been doing myself. You have the best of both of us. The power to change things, and the will to see it happen. She would have been proud of you. I know it.
Not so sure, but well, I mean, my main concern is that you were one of me or one like these Ichor beasts, but I guess brown blood is good as well.
Yes, I do not possess the gift myself.
Oh. It was unexpected because people here they typically bleed red.
Well, I suppose we're not exactly one of them, are we?
Well, you don't exactly, come from here, so I'll just.
I mean, even on this planet, there are people who bleed other colors.
Well, but typically it's red.
Yeah, red's just the most common. He gives you a smile as he sits back on the bed, still seeming more energetic than he had been, but a little back to mellowing as your wound closes. I hope someday I can show you our home. It'll return here someday. And if it's what you want, we could leave with it.
When do you think it will return?
I suppose I don't really know. Far be it from me to predict the course of such a great celestial entity. But I suppose I can pray to the stars for answers. Thank you for coming to see me. He tucks himself back under the blankets. I recover a little faster every day, knowing that you and I are together again.
I would like for you to get well, so that maybe me and you can talk about what our next.
Then I suppose I better get to recovering. He closes his eyes and leans back into a pillow with a smile, but after a moment of delay, you hear it's almost muttered, but he speaks in Draconic. Do you speak Draconic?
I think we talked about this, right? Remember, it's like
You have a sort of instinctual grasp, but don't fluently speak it.
yeah, basically, no one's ever taught him how to speak it, so it's like.
Yeah, you just kind of know it.
Even though I did that one whole like dictionary of
Yeah, you don't have keen mind, so. But Zephyr, with your intuitive grasp of the language, and hearing it come from the mouth of your father, you realize why. It was always the language your parents would use. He speaks to you in Draconic, the native tongue of your people. I love you, Zephyr.
You know what? I'm gonna attempt to in Draconic apply back. I love you too.
He gives a smile. You're not certain how well you did, but even if he didn't understand you, you get the impression he got the message. And soon he sleeps, falling into a deep, sickened slumber as he recovers.
I have to worry about the others. Alright.
Anything else from you, Zeph? Or are you good?
Well, I do, but I'm willing to wait.
Okay. In that case,
But I will say, I guess I'll message Red real quick and see if he's. Did he ever get back to me about him coming to Tabedran?
all right. And just for my reference, how are you messaging him? Just so I know.
My sending stone, if he still
Right.
has.
Yeah, because he has the other end. Okay. Zephyr, as you start settling down yourself and readying for the night, you send out another sending to Red, asking where he is and when he intends to return. You hadn't gotten an answer the first time, but now you do get one. Was wondering when I was gonna get an actual destination. Be there soon. You guys left me behind in denouement.
Yeah.
On the bright side, though, picked up a few things while I was here. Might be useful. Any errands you want me to run on the way back?
Guessing that was him sending the message back.
Yeah.
Cause like otherwise I can't reply. Like,
Well, he's probably going to take. It's the middle of the night. He's probably going to take some time to get ready to go anyway. So more just message him if you realize, hey, you're going to be passing through such and such. Can you make a pit stop?
I didn't realize there was in denouement. I didn't think he went with us.
Yeah, he was in the back of the cart, but you guys gave the cart up to security, so he was still in the cargo hold and popped out like, where is everyone? And realized you guys just left without him.
Yeah, we're kind of just like, oh yeah, he'll take care of himself.
I mean, he did, clearly.
We don't need a card
Not
anymore.
Zephyr being able to tell
I
that he
honestly
could just teleport with the rest of us.
forgot he was in there. Oh my god. Feel
I
so
thought
bad.
he was gone like ages ago because he never said
Yeah.
anything anymore.
He never said anything.
I mean, he's like Zephyr, he just listens.
I thought he was with Sun Dragon.
Well, I know we had a whole Sun Dragon point, and I know I used, but either way, I guess, I guess I'll reply back, and I don't really know what's between here and there, so couldn't give you an answer on that.
All right, be there soon.
I don't know the map.
Is that it for you, Zeph?
Yep.
All right. Caleb, making your
Yeah.
way out to your little delinquent friend's hideout, giving your usual coded
Like it's not. That's not even a code anymore. It's like everybody does that.
The door opens, and you see Dimitri there. He gives you a smile and pulls you into a hug, and giving you a broad grin as he lets you inside and the
How
rest of
did
your
he know
friends.
it was me?
Well, why don't you ask him?
How do you always know it's me?
You have a distinct smell about you.
Oh my god.
I should have guessed. Is it just you in right now?
No, everyone's here. And sure enough, they all begin giving you their ecstatic greetings as well. And
Okay, everyone. Okay, there's. I hear everything's been going well here in Tabedran.
yeah, all things considered, it's mostly just been boring. Everyone seems pretty on board with you as the king. The king himself's not getting any better. Still haven't seen the queen. Summer mostly just stays in the castle. Laup hasn't come back yet. And the war on Barbarous is staying in Barbarous. So far, it's been quiet. We just got wind that you got back not that long ago.
Yeah, it's was a productive trip.
The energetic, a loud mouth of the crew kind of leaning forward with no regard for the late hour or the relative private meeting. Well, spill it! What'd you find?
Caleb just kind of looks to Dimitri and asks, and just kind of like whispers to him, "Do you think they can keep a secret?"
Their job is to keep secrets. If I'm going to trust these people to not stab me in the back, I think I'm going to at least need to trust them a little bit on other
Right,
stuff.
right. Well, I found my father, my actual father.
That gets a lot of raised eyebrows. A few of them look to each other, and even Dimitri kind of coughs a little bit, like he'd been expecting a lot, but had not been expecting that. Holy shit! Was he, you know?
Well, I guess I should say I found them alive, most of him. The dwarves did take a little bit. Kind of. Oh shit, hold on. Just wait, can't use gestures.
That Caleb, what is missing?
He's missing his arm, but he has a new one. You know how my friend what's his is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of those.
Wow, all this time, I can't believe it.
Yep, he was still kicking in there. And he made a friend, and he's with us too. And Zephyr, I don't know. I don't know what Zephyr. I think I should leave that for Zephyr to tell people.
Well, anything that we should be worried about?
Not at the moment. My father and I do have a bit of agreement that we're gonna kind of keep it on the down low that he's back.
All right.
Otherwise, people start asking questions, and those questions could lead to areas that lead out of control.
No, yeah, good call. You got all that, Jerry? Jerry, who is to his credit listening, but doesn't appear to be looking directly at any of you.
Did Jerry? Let's be honest. Jerry probably was not surprised.
Jerry just gives
Nothing phases him. He's like
yeah.
cold as ice.
Cold as ice. But he does give a nod of acknowledgement. To his credit, he was seeming genuinely surprised that you not only found your father, but found him alive. Jane, for her part, kind of stiffens a bit and adjusts her glasses before signing out. Initially very fast, but then it starts to kind of slow down and become more methodical and cautious.
Also, I just realized since she signs, that means Dimitri can't tell what she says.
Except, as she speaks, Rosie, the talkative girl, fills in for everyone what she's saying.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna have Caleb like do that, but I guess they already have a system.
As Jane signs, Rosie kind of lets out a loud gasp and seems to agree with the expressed sentiment. That is actually a really good point. If Caleb's father's back, what does that mean for you two? And she points her fingers to you and Dimitri before bringing them together.
Yeah. He still has that issue with you I can't explain. Do you think you might have any insight into this?
What can I say? Your dad's a good judge of character.
Taylor was just like, that is not what I want to be hearing right now.
Oh, please. Are you really going to let him decide who you do or don't date?
Well, you're two very important people in my life, and I want the two of you to be able to at least coexist.
Hey, I don't mind coexisting with him. In fact, I actually prefer it. It's always good to have a fall guy.
Dimitri.
He kind of quirks a brow and just, what, you wouldn't?
Usually the fall guy is someone that you don't care about.
Yes. But, when needs must, you take what you can get.
Yeah, Dimitri can't see it, but Caleb just shakes his head. Just so you know, I just shook my head.
Oh, I could guess.
I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, I can hear the rocks rattling in there.
You can hear the rocks rattling in there.
It's a thing I do.
So, what's the plan then? I guess just stay the course? Don't really need to do anything?
For now, we also found a solution to this Icar problem of sorts, at least one that buys time, if not a permanent solution.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
But she's going to need time to figure out if this can be used on the king or not.
She handed over the summer?
Not exactly.
He kind of quirks a brow.
Alright, don't be spreading
He
this
died.
information, but I think it is important for my friends and my so far.
Boyfriend? Boy you're fucking? Boy toy? Bedbug?
It was just like, we haven't gotten to that point yet. That's still a couple years off.
He kind of waves a hand and rolls his eyes.
But, well, I'm also including this whole group. All of you have been helping me. It's important I keep you in the loop.
Very important. And she leans in, ready for gossip.
We found one Dr. Knight, a member of the Concord, who has decided to turn against them. She knows how to create a stabilizer. Basically, it stops someone with Icar from turning into a monster or just dying. But, because I don't know did I ever tell you that it involves two souls being in one body?
I think you mentioned that, yeah. It sounds familiar.
The souls have to be at least 50% compatible. If the king and whatever soul was randomly thrown into him are not at least 50% compatible, from what I understand, this solution will not work. To top it all off, Lucian, at Zephyr convincing me, sent a message to the queen before we had a chance to find out what his compatibility is. So, and she made it quite clear that this is going to be the last meeting, one way or another.
I suppose it wouldn't have done us any good to wait then. Unless you think another solution's going to present itself sometime soon, she was either going to blame you for what happened to him or blame you for what happened to him.
It's true, but this does mean this is, as they say in gambling, all or nothing. This will either succeed, and this will be able to achieve the peaceful end that I am seeking, or peace will be thrown out the window, and violence will be the only way to solve it.
I guess that explains the mercenaries.
You heard about that.
You said to keep an eye on things. That's what we're doing. We have a few ins with the guards who let us know to be expecting some mercenaries you guys are hiring.
I think they were more intended for the war and barbarous, but which I have been. I do. If all of this works out and I do become king, I will need to. Sounds like I need to prepare a pretty good speech to convince the people that we need to be involved in that.
Yeah, probably. They'll like you enough as ruler, but that's because as it stands, you're telling them everything they want to hear.
Well, I just got to convince them of. I just have to convince them of the dangers of the Concord. It's not why peace would be beneficial. If the king's image remains intact, then I can use his affliction to convince them.
All right. And we're still holding on to that material you gave us. So just say the word and everyone knows.
What was the material we gave them?
That basically, if for any reason something happens to you, or especially in negotiations with the king, something happens to you, the kids are to spread the rumors about the king's involvement in assassinating your father. To basically sow distrust, ensure that if you can't have the throne, no one can.
Okay. Yes, that we may wind up needing that, depending on how stubborn Summer decides to be. But again, I would again, if I have to destroy the king's reputation to get what I want, then I can't use his affliction to convince them of the danger.
Well, that'll certainly work. Corner the rats, they'll start biting.
I did get the sense that the general was a bit disappointed that I've been trying for a more peaceful route lately.
General Vilpine likes anything that puts blood on his teeth. I wouldn't use him as a measure for the rest of us. He's not even really a Tabedran.
I mean, really, anyone who wants to call themselves one is, considering nobody is yet been born in it. Unless they're very little.
He kind of rolls his eyes again and shakes his head, but kind of crosses his arms and leans against the wall of the little hut. Well, I suppose do nothing and keep our mouths shut is something we can certainly do. You're lucky. Normally we charge people for this service.
I'm sure you do.
But for you, we'll make it work. Just, well, if you're going to get in any more trouble, he kind of waves his head side to side before giving you a smile. Make sure it involves us, or at least we get front row seats. I haven't actually gotten to see you in action.
Well, if all goes well, if this whole king thing goes wrong, I intend for all of Tabedra to see what happens. I want
Ominous.
if the queen's gonna do what she's going to do, at least her reputation, at least she can destroy what reputation she has in the process. After all, people seem to be convinced that there's actually a family in that castle.
At this, you can see the rest of them, especially Jane, look kind of put out. And eventually, Jerry's actually the one who puts forth seemingly what the rest are thinking. Was it ever like that?
Here's the thing about the king. Such things are not possible for him. is who he is. Everyone around him is a tool. As the general put it, we, the family, quote unquote, were his most valuable weapons. He valued us as such. You know, a good a good someone who has good weapons will generally try to maintain them, keep them clean, keep them sharp. But we were still just weapons, tools to him. And when one of those tools didn't work as he intended, he made efforts. He made efforts to try and force that tool to be what he wanted. Did I tell you about how I am different now?
No. You said that whatever they did to you, something was broken. You needed to fix it.
It is fixed for now. But it was the king who broke it. It was part of his deal, I guess, or one of his deals with the Concord. I mean, they under the nose of everybody in the castle, even the guards standing out front. He had the Concord do what they needed to do, and then I was returned.
So that's where you went.
What was that?
That was where you went.
Do you remember the day it happened?
Sort of. It didn't seem like anything was different. You told me that you were going to do some training up north for your father. I mean, I know you blue bloods have expectations that the rest of us don't, so I didn't question it. But after you left, you stopped writing. I didn't hear from you. I didn't see you again until the ball, and you didn't speak to me. It's like you didn't even know who I was.
Aw.
I thought, I don't know. I thought maybe you'd just forgotten about me. Down here in the gutters while you were living it up among princes and knights and whatever else.
At that, Caleb will kind of like grab his hand and be like, I would never forget you.
Thank you, Caleb. He puts his hand over yours and smiles and gives you a kiss on the cheek. And I'm sorry. I didn't know. If I had known, I would have. I don't know. I would have done something.
I don't think there was much you could do.
But I just don't understand. If he wanted someone to, you know, he draws a finger across his throat. He already had someone for that. The Queen's one of the best hired killers in the world. Why would he need another one?
Well, the queen isn't as young as she used to be. And you said it yourself, she's well known. If she tries to sneak in somewheres, everyone will know who she is and what she's doing.
I've heard what she can do. If I understand what she can do right, no one's stopping her from getting out of anywhere. But, and he pauses and considers.
Could Caleb do a little think on the matter?
Roll just a general intelligence check. I'll give you advantage since Dimitri is actually also contemplating. So if that roll's good enough, he'll figure it out.
Intelligence at advantage.
Yes.
The first roll was like a 5. The second roll was like a 21.
You're not positive, but I will say, as just a little throw in, especially since you did succeed the roll with advantage, I will say that as for what he's talking about vis-a-vis, no one could keep her out of anywhere. Remember, you've seen that your mother is a changeling. So recognizing her appearance doesn't do anyone any good unless there is iron to force her into her true form. She can look like anyone and convincingly play their part at least long enough to get to her target.
Oh, okay.
But Dimitri, for his part, kind of gives a visible shudder, as do most of the other kids, as he leans his head down. But maybe you're right. I can't think of any other reason. Disgusting. That woman would lay down on barbed wire so that he could crawl over her. And he was setting you up to replace her.
And I do have to say so myself. I am a very unassuming assassin.
Oh yes, you just have the pinchiest little cheeks, and he quite so pinches your cheeks.
But I mean, again, it just shows. If you have a tool that is going rusty, you replace it. It is who he is. I don't know if he can even help it. I almost pity him.
None of us can help what we're born as. You and your friends are the only people I've seen who managed to change it.
Yes, and that took a lot.
Divine intervention.
Pretty much.
I'm glad you found your father. And I'm glad your family's back together. I'm sorry for doubting you.
I doubted myself, to be honest. I was not expecting to find him. It's been so long. He didn't even recognize me at first.
To be fair, I was separated from you for a way shorter time, and I barely recognized you myself.
I thought I had a special scent.
That was what did it. He taps against his head with a grin. You can fool people's eyes, but you can't fool this nose.
I guess you could say nobody else knows.
Well, the nose knows. You can see Jerry kind of go cross-eyed as he looks at his own nose contemplatively. Almost like he's trying to pry its secrets out.
Be careful,
my
guys.
God.
Might get stuck like that.
Really?
Yeah, that's what people tell me.
People say lots of things.
They sure do.
He stares at you silently for a moment before returning to his task. Gods, I love Jerry. Well, you're welcome to stay the night with us. But I'm sure you want to spend some time with your father.
Yes, I would like to. Oh, apparently, the general thinks, what was the guy's name? The Lone Wolf or something?
The Wolfhound.
Apparently, the general seems to think that the guy from the story is the Wolfhound. He's running around. Says the guy once took a chunk out of him.
He probably just told you that story to scare you. The Wolfhound's not real.
Well, someone broke into the castle.
Maybe it was your brother.
I know it wasn't him. He had no idea who it was either. Even Zephyr is a good liar, but even good liars have little tells.
Jane signs out with, as always, her companion providing feedback to fill in. Did they take anything?
Nothing was taken. No one was harmed. They broke in, did God's knows what, and left with the only one being the wiser, being our friend with the seeing stone.
The treasury, Morris.
Yeah, Morris was the only one who knew. This is the only reason why anyone even knows someone broke in.
But Volpine is convinced it's the Wolfhound, a fictional assassin who is not only real, but breaking into castles and not killing anyone.
Could be scoping the place out. That's his suspicion, at least. He says he's run into him before. Says he once took a bounty on him. And he showed me the scar he got for his trouble.
He probably just got that hunting. But
Well, if nothing else, he seems to believe it.
don't worry, we'll keep our eyes open. But I wouldn't be too worked up. Honestly, with everyone here able to sleep properly again, we're probably just dreaming for the first time in a while, forgotten what a nightmare actually feels like.
That's fair.
Nightmares are called reality.
All right, hang on. I gotta be right back real quick, but I have something else I want to do here.
Okay.
Like before Caleb leaves here, but
Yeah,
I gotta
no
be
worries.
right back. Just like a moment to bring.
Go ahead, do what you gotta do, man. In the meantime, does anyone else have anything in regards to their tasks of the day?
I think I'm actually good.
Just getting the cart
Yeah,
The
and
cart.
horses.
Sport cart.
Gotta get the corpses.
I mean, I did offer an undead army, so still on the table.
Well, if they keep trying to charge us more for our stuff back, we might have some corpses.
BT
Yeah.
Dubs, yeah, since you guys are going to stay in Errant for a hot minute.
I
Mhm.
mean, you did technically leave your horse, and they've had to take care of it this entire time, and rent.
Such a travesty.
I know, but like the rent's been piling up. It's like, yeah, you're like five
Fine.
months behind rent.
I'll pay whatever. I'll pay it.
It'll cost. So for you guys to just have lodging while you're here, it'll cost you for the two of you, assuming you want separate rooms, 1 gold, 6 silver.
Okay, easy enough.
I was gonna say
And
I'll sleep outside. I have literally 6 gold, 4 silver
No,
left.
that's not necessary. Stop.
and as mentioned, it is 250 gold for the cart. The dwarves promised you that your cart would not be harmed, that you did not prohibit them from just selling it off to the next person who came by.
All right, I went ahead and I took care of that.
All right.
You only had to pay 50 towards that one, Minda.
Oh, it's fine. I don't. It's fine.
Well, I already subtracted all the gold.
Well, now you can just add it back.
Fine.
Math.
Yes.
Anyway, did we run into red?
He said no. He's just kind of wandering the area. And bear in mind, he's been there for a while, so he's already skipped town. And he's making his way back to Rosewick anyway.
Which is fine.
All right.
All right, I'm back.
Hello. Lucian?
What happened?
We were just catching up real quick with some of the other characters, just basically reestablishing everyone's things. Lucian, thankfully, Dr. Knight's suspicions were unwarranted. With the amount of trade happening between Aegis and denouement, a new ferry has cropped up to take their place, allowing you transport between the cities. And while What's-Is oversees the creation of a mercenary army, you run back into town to fetch your cart and horses and have them return to your group's possession.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Caleb, you said you had a thing you wanted to do before the
Yeah.
day was out.
Yeah, before he left there, he was he was maybe just chat a little bit before he headed back. And as he leaves, he'll tell Dimitri, "I love you, by the way."
Love you too, Caleb. Stay safe.
And just because Caleb doesn't have any real doubt on this matter, but he figures his father deserves to at least be kidded. Insight.
Roll insight.
He was lying all along.
He
Well, I
lied about
figured
every
I
fucking
figured
thing
he
he
can
said.
use insight as well to also just kind of get some more details on exactly how he feels about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, Caleb just he has that belief in him that he does mean. They see as far as he's concerned, he currently fully believes that Dimitri fully means it when he says that. But he also considers that it might give him a little more, insight into, maybe some more details of what Dimitri. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what was your insight roll?
Hang on, checking something real quick. Did I use all of them? Okay. I was
Talking
just
about
making.
lucky.
Yeah, I was just checking if I had any lucky points real quick.
Gosh,
So
I'm gonna
let's
Yeah,
die.
see.
I think you've
Insight.
got one left.
And I died.
No, I used all three. I wanted to check before I did this. 16.
He seems like he's being honest when he says it. The face he makes is a little odd, but it doesn't seem hostile. More like it's that sort of. Trying to think of how to describe it exactly. It's that sort of distant bemusement. Almost like he's saying it as like a sort of in joke rather than like, he doesn't have the sort of like dopey smile you would expect of someone who's like madly in love.
Okay, well, trying to maybe disguise it as being playful. He's like, "Oh, do you really mean that?"
Yes, obviously. He gives you a much broader smile this time, although you do deception even lower. You can tell that the smile is plastered on by the fact that he knows you're looking for it now.
That's mildly concerning. Are, are you hiding something?
What? Caleb, we're Tabedran. We're always hiding something.
I know, but
That's fair.
just the way you said it seemed off this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. His brows kind of knit together and he clears his throat a little bit before. Let me try again. I love you, Caleb. Please get back safe.
Just one more check.
Roll insight.
17.
Yeah, he seems honest. You suspect he may have just been distracted earlier, or maybe he's just tired. It is getting late after all.
All right then. I'll be glad to see you tomorrow as well.
I'll let you know if we find anything. And I know he won't want to hear it, but tell your dad I said hi.
I will.
And with that, the party conducts their errands. Is there any notable activity anyone would like to get up to over the next few days? What's and Lucian are preparing their army and retrieving the cart. Caleb is overseeing his campaign for king. Also, Caleb, I will tell you that at the end of this time skip, the summer solstice and your birthday is in 2 days after this time skip.
How far are we skipping?
We're skipping by 3 days, which is when
Oh yeah.
Lucian
Also,
Walters will
Caleb
return.
wanted to check with Dr. Knight and basically tell her, we need to test the king as soon as possible.
Okay, noted. Anyone else have anything during this 3 days?
Basically,
Just gonna keep the 30 mercenaries on hand for now, because it does occur to him that we might need them for the queen
All right, well,
when
yeah,
the shit hits the fan.
All right. Changing your orders slightly, you tell them to just wait at Rosewick for further orders rather than head straight for the war front. You and Lucian oversee the transport of mercenaries. Zephyr, anything noteworthy from you, or are you just kind of hanging out?
What's Caleb's father doing?
Caleb's father.
Yeah.
Are you just kind of just checking on him periodically, or are you like basically, am I gonna have you roll, or is it just you're gonna just check in on him and see what he's doing?
I guess I'm at the roll.
Roll investigation and stealth. Give me both results.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, gotta be suspicious, right?
Ooh. Cool, cool. I'm happy I have advantage. 21 on stealth. Now investigation. 17.
Okay. Sorry, can you just give me the stealth roll again?
you said 21, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah, he said
believe
21.
so. Yeah, it was 21.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had your other roll ready. I just needed to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably sees me, but
Okay. After a while, Zephyr, feeling a bit suspicious of the one-armed man, you begin to silently tail behind him. I'll say this is maybe like the next day or the day after the next from the previous night. And for the most part, his routine seems kind of unremarkable. True to Caleb's wishes, he does not leave the bar for any reason. He just comes down, gets food and drink. Even then, he wears a mask and goes back up and does not come back down. So, as a result, as far as you can tell, he just spends most of the day just bumming around with Rahutai, who does leave the bar periodically, but does seem to consistently come back and spend time with Bernard throughout the day. The most involved they ever get with anyone outside of you guys or the immediate family is whenever him and Rahutai get into a darts game with the other Tabedrans. But again, they at least, despite their lack of sobriety, do seem to go out of their way to keep Bernard's identity confidential. It's whenever night falls. Rahutai, from the sounds of the snoring, is already asleep, and you're about to turn into your room and either do the same or investigate further once you're sure Bernard's asleep, when the door is opened by a very unimpressed looking Bernard. Hello there, Zephyr, right?
yes.
Any particular reason you're tailing me?
Well, what color is his hair?
He is a blondie, much like his son.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, shoot.
Did you go by any names while you were in doing your jobs.
Did Caleb tell you about that?
Tell you about what?
Oh, well, yeah, I did. It's an old style thing. We were young, you know, but yeah, they used to have a nickname for my wife and I back whenever we were leading the raids.
I'm not talking about the raids. I'm talking about you.
You said when I was doing my job, right? Don't recall having another job besides that. I'd hope to be true nobility someday, but
What was it? I'm trying to think, man. What did the guards say the name? Well, like, Wolf,
Wolfhound.
Wolfhound. Do you know a name by Wolfhound?
Wolfhound. The assassin. I've heard the stories. Never had the misfortune of meeting it in person. Why?
Really? Well, is there any reason you would need to, go to the castle?
I'm certainly not thrilled with any kind of pauses and looks up and down the hallway, almost to check nobody's listening. Look, my boy, he's a good kid, but he's sweet, and I'm just not the most trusting of this new family of his. I know he's keeping him a bit at arm's length, but even arm's length is a little bit too much into stabbing range for my preference, you know? But no, I have not taken that up with the castle. My son said for me to stay here, and by the gods, that's what I'm going to do. I don't care if this place catches fire, I'm staying right here.
I would like to insight check this.
Roll insight.
Oh. So, let's see. 17?
He seems like he's being completely honest. As far as you can tell, he is 100% committed to doing what Caleb told him to do, even if he personally seems like he does genuinely want to sneak into the castle and cut the king's throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you believe him.
Yeah.
Perfectly trustworthy.
Yeah. Huh? Alright. Well, just making sure. Just making sure that that was the case. I mean, frankly, what you do doesn't concern me, but I figured information should be known.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Has the Wolfhound been seen here?
Unsure. We just, there was a spotting of someone, but you don't know who.
He gives a bit of a shrug, and, well, be careful, alright?
Sure. Zephyr will leave.
Zephyr, you step away, and Caleb's father watches you for a long moment before shutting the door behind him, and you can hear the lock turn.
That would stop me.
yeah, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, no. He'll go back to bed.
All right. And Caleb.
How long does Dr. Knight say she needs? Because Caleb's basically going to say, we have a week to get him tested and possibly cured, depending.
Dr. Knight, when you find her, has, true to her words, set up shop out in the Sprintwood, a little down south of Rosewick. It takes you a hot minute to find her. The only reason you're even able to is because it turns out the mercenaries have been kind of befriending her, and she's just been giving them like food and medicine while they wait for the next step of their contract. So Dr. Knight's made a bit of a fan base for herself among the mercs you guys have hired. But as you arrive and make your request, she gives a broad smile, and Dr. Marula grins to you and
Yeah, I'll note he just says doctor until she clarifies.
Dr. Marula, and well, that is quite the fortunate little pickle you've put me in, because that's a week longer than I need.
You can do it in one day.
One day, as long as I got the ingredients on me, I can do it in seconds.
Do you need some of his blood?
I'll need his blood to test compatibility. Compare it to all of y'all as a baseline. Give me that. I can have him kick in as soon as you want.
Very well. I guess. Of course, that assumes he's 50% compatible.
He has to be. If he wasn't, he would already be gone. The fact that he's even still holding on to lucidity and consciousness means that there's something there. A spark. And that's all I need.
Maybe he's exactly 50%.
Well, it could be like all of y'all. Could also be fluctuating.
Very well. I'd imagine if I talk to Summer, who's been studying him, I could probably get a sample pretty easily, especially if I tell her it's necessary. What time of day is it? Is it night yet?
I'll say it's probably fairly early, unless you wanted to go later in the day.
Okay. He'll go and kind of, same deals before. He'll go to the front and be like, I need to speak with Summer about Father.
Right. The guards quickly make the arrangements for you, and it's a bit of a delay. It takes like 5 minutes, but Summer does eventually descend the staircase and greet you. However, she is different than when you last saw her. Her hair is a mess. There's bags under her eyes, and she's covered in what looks like marks of dust and ash. And she kind of rubs at her eyes as she shakes her head on seeing you. And
How are things treating you?
fine. What do you want?
I have some. I believe I mentioned I might have a way to help Father, but to do so, I will need. Do you have any samples of the black blood from him? Or any blood from him will do. If you can provide me with a sample, then this route I'm working on I can find out if it'll work.
Is that an order?
It is a request. I mean, unless you just don't want Father to get better.
Roll persuasion.
Persuasion. I got that plus 12, and I can't roll less than 10, so I just got a nat 1. A natural 20, so 32.
I do want him to get better. She rubs at the sides of her head, seeming like she is in a terrible mood right now. And after taking a moment to kind of pace the room and calm herself, she returns to being in front of you. And fine, I'll get you your sample.
Thank you. I hope you had some time to think about our conversation, but I don't want to push the matter. You seem quite stressed already.
She just stares at you, not even giving you anything in the way of assent or dissent on the matter, and then finally just snaps her fingers to the guards, one of whom kind of jolts a little bit, and will that be all, my lord?
Is he talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, that is all I need right now. Also, can he inside her reaction? Also, did I get a long rest?
Yeah. This has been a while, so you have a long rest. And
Okay.
yeah, roll insight.
Okay. I'm gonna use a point. Just 1 point. I'm not gonna use any others on this. Okay, 15.
She's hard to read. It's hard to tell. You can definitely tell she's unhappy. You just don't know about what.
Yeah, Caleb is not good at insight. Like that seems to be a bit of an oversight.
Well, I mean, you know, you can't
He's
have a
good at
character who's good at everything.
He's good at deceiving.
But he cannot tell when he is being deceived.
Yeah.
But then brother can help with that.
Very true. All right. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to do during this time span?
Does Summer get the sample?
Yes, she does get you a sample of the blood. It is just delivered to you quietly by a messenger from the castle. No letter or word accompanying it.
Yeah. Then once he gets it, Caleb will take it to Dr. Knight.
All right. Three days pass, relatively uneventfully. Eventually, the last of the mercenaries are transported, and Lucian and you triumphantly return to Rosewick. By this point, word has spread that you have hired the Knights Errant, and people give you cheers as you roll back into town with your carriage in tow. Caleb and Zephyr, having mostly been attending to your personal matters, you see that your party has returned from their mission to get you some hired muscle. As Caleb, as you saw out in the forest, that mission definitely successful. And as you all group up in the center of Rosewick, you have, assuming she arrives exactly when she said she would, 4 days before the Queen returns. Is there anything you guys would like to do once you all regroup in Rosewick?
And we'll just check with Dr. Knight to get the exact, specifics.
Yeah, no, I would
of
I would
the-
actually also like to visit with Dr. Marula and put our big brains together.
Okay. Anyone else have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Caleb, Lucian, anyone else who wants to go? You make your way out into the Sprintwood down south and eventually stumble across Dr. Knight's lab. Although it's less of a lab and more of just a little place for the mercs to party. And said mercs give Lucian salutes and raised glasses as the two of you stroll in the center of it all. And the goblin woman steps forward a bit nervously, but smiles on seeing you, Lucian, and good, you made it back.
A little bit tired, but I'm here. Are you ready to get to work?
Yep. This little sweetie over here already gave me the sample I needed, and we're in luck. The compatibility's not perfect, but it fluctuates into a stable range often enough for it to be, well, reliable. As long as nothing overly upsets either of the soul's emotional states. And,
Similar to my own?
yeah, just a bit on the lower end.
Quite good considering it was seemingly done at random.
Oh, yeah. The man's lucky to be alive. The lady in white only wanted him coherent and talking for, at most, maybe a month or two after the injection. The fact that he's lasted this long is pure luck on his part. Someone up there is looking out for him.
That or
So
is
you can guarantee that it works.
Yes, I can stabilize his blood. I just need a clean injection. And I need access to anyone else who might have his blood.
that would need Summer.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would be having his blood? I don't think any.
No, Summer, I guess technically biologically.
Yeah, I mean, there's Summer,
But
Caleb.
But that would. I mean, Summer's related to him, but that was ages ago.
There's one other person. The one in the prison cell. The one who tried to kill the king, remember?
Oh yeah, we don't give a shit about them.
But it
They
might
can
be,
rot.
yeah,
They
I'll
can
say
rot.
that Lucian does remember that and should just kind of bring it up. I understand what you mean, Caleb, but maybe we can just go in and just get the vial of blood or something.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is if somebody else has the king's ichor, I can still fix him, but there's always a chance it'll, happen again.
Yeah.
So
Would
what
this
you're saying is we need to remove this factor.
in theory, yes, but remember, trying to kill it sends these creatures into an aggravated state. I designed them to defend themselves. Curing this person lowers the infectivity, and, well, it seems like the two of you ain't exactly friends with them, but
Well,
I
they
don't know.
tried to kill us all, so
Yeah, it seems to be going around.
very well, we will cure them, but they're staying in their cell.
I ain't the royals. I don't just make the decisions. Now, when do you want me to do this?
Well,
The
that
queen
is
will
up to
rise
the
in a couple
queen.
days, so ideally then. Because I
That
want
is
to
up
see.
to the queen.
I want her to see with her own eyes.
If
All right.
she's willing to make the trade, then we'll do it then. If not, then things get messy.
All right. I'll get everything ready.
Do you need help? I don't mind.
I wouldn't say no to an extra set of hands if you're not doing nothing.
I've got nothing but time.
All right. Anyone have anything else over this time?
No, Caleb will just kind of get into a routine of visiting Dimitri and then spending some time with his father here and there.
All right.
Though I will say he will be kind of observant of Dimitri.
Okay.
Trying not to make it obvious that he's
Of
being
course, yeah.
observant. So should I roll anything?
Yeah, I'll say roll. I guess roll insight.
Natural 20, so 21.
Nice.
All right. So Lucian's working out in the Sprintwood. Caleb's hanging out in Rosewick. Zephyr, what's his? Anything from you guys?
I mean, just make sure father is good, and otherwise, no.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there is one thing. At some point, Caleb wants to have a conversation with Zephyr.
Okay.
Because he's getting some concerning vibes.
Turning
Okay.
vibes.
All right.
Especially because it seems like Caleb having the guard support seems to apparently be entirely connected to Zephyr.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
As much to
military.
his effort to try to play nice, he seems to not be doing very well at winning them over.
Mm.
All right. Caleb, political
No
concerns.
offense to Zephyr, but Caleb kind of was hoping he would have time to get a little nicer with them than Zephyr is, but apparently that wasn't the case. No offense to Zephyr.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to be offensive about. It's just they like Zephyr. That's all there is to it.
All right. Caleb, political concerns in the back of your mind. You managed to track down your elusive brother in the Bear's Lodge and strike up a conversation with him.
I was just gonna ask him, how are you feeling about all this?
Feeling about all what?
This possibly being against the king, mother.
Oh, I mean, I don't have any. I have nothing against nor with. I'm more indifferent to the whole aspect. If the king ends up getting the throne back, then well, then that's a situation to be handled later. I assume you don't plan on letting him keep it, so.
Yes, that is the case.
So.
I just I know that I get this feeling that family is something important to you, even if you even if you won't admit to it. And so I wanted to. I just wanted to know that where you stand. I've been, trying to play nice with all the other people, but I feel like I haven't really talked with you about all this.
Trying to think, Zephyr, understand this is a political. um,
I mean, I will say for like DM's reference, if he was incited, yes, there is a political aspect, but he does also mean it to an extent as well.
I know, I figured as much. Like I said, I'm a bit indifferent to the whole aspect, but the choices are, Paul, or no, Larb, which is not here. Our dear sister, which honestly, mixed feelings more towards. I'm more against than with, but there's a little bit of hesitation there. But, or you, I definitely won't be going on the throne. Sounds like way too much trouble and way too much, to handle. So, I think out of all the options, you are definitely the least troublesome.
Well, it's good to know. And here I was thinking in my head, trying to prepare some great speech about about the meaning of family and all that.
I mean, not sure though there'll be much family to begin with, because not sure if I'm even gonna stay with the family.
That is your choice. It. I don't know how you feel about it, but it never seemed much of a family to me. At least once I started to really notice.
Once you found out the truth, yeah,
It made me realize that it never really was much of a family, was it?
I get that. I guess, I mean, that's one of our few differences. Our situation is different, but either way, father will be getting well soon, and mother should, hopefully not attack us.
I hope
For
it doesn't come to that either. But if it does, I just wanted to be sure where you would stand.
if mother's going to attack us, I don't think I really have much to stand.
Well, I guess we will, well, hopefully not have to find out, but if we do, we will. It does make me wonder, why did father need another assassin?
I remember hearing something about it was more. He brought you into the family because he used your father's blood and all this, so it's only right or something.
Overseas Zephyr. But remember, Zephyr, it's not really how our father the king thinks, is it? Everything is It's like a chess game to him. Every move he makes is to his advantage. He doesn't do things just because it's nice or the right thing to do. He does it because it benefits him.
I think that that's what he tries to do, of course, benefit him in all the end, but I don't know if it's. I don't think I'd ever go as far as to say that's his only goal.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Part of me thinks that he's not the tyrant that we think he is, but that's for another story, or for another. That's for us to find out, because when he's actually coherent.
Yes, well, I'm sure he won't be very happy with the deal the Queen made on his behalf.
Well, well, happy or not, he'll be alive. Hopefully, he'll see as an opportunity to regrow somewhere else.
Yeah, I certainly will promise him resources to do so whatever he wishes, if it all ends on good terms, obviously. I would prefer that this end with him remembered as Tabedra's first king, rather than its first tyrant. But anyway, I wanted to check up on you. I hadn't talked to you about any of this yet, so.
Well, so far nothing has changed. My vote is towards you for now.
And I'm glad to have your vote.
For now.
Yeah, he did say that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, assuming you have nothing else, I'll just kind of go back to what he was doing.
Yeah. I think that was all Caleb had to say. I'm not kidding though. I did have this whole speech planned.
I'm like, yeah, no, speech just there's effort's pretty simple, you know. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think everyone really overcomplicates how to deal with Zephyr. It really is just as simple as he does whatever is immediately practical. Like, you don't need to. It's not about convincing him. You either need to convince him to do something that's against his best interest, which is impossible, or convince him to do something that's in his best interest, which you don't need to because he's already done it.
He's already done it. It's hard.
You could try to convince him that what you wanted to do is in his best interest.
Yeah.
True. But speaking of Zephyr's best interest, just wanted to say, Zephyr, for a very poignant and, may I say, interesting observation of the king's behaviors, you get inspiration.
I don't think I didn't notice the first encounter.
What happened in the first encounter?
Our first encounter with Barbarous was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zephyr, just having been closer to the king as well than Caleb, sees parts of him that Caleb never did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, inspiration. Even more so knowing that you went all the way back there.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I knew his line of thinking. It would be very clever. Don't electrocute me, please.
Caleb, as you track down your father, your political concerns assuaged, and sit with him, Rahutai, and Dimitri, you kind of periodically, surreptitiously, of course, you're confident not even your breathing is changing, take surreptitious looks to Dimitri periodically. And with a natural 20 on insight, I will absolutely give this to you. He laughs when your father tells jokes. He smiles when appropriate. he has all the mannerisms of someone who's incredibly friendly and genuine with those around him, but you notice that whenever he thinks nobody's watching, like Ruhutai and Bernard are looking at each other and he suspects you're likely not paying him any attention, his face just falls into this kind of almost bored expression. With a natural 20 on insight, I'll say that you know his mannerisms by this point well enough to know, indeed, it's as it looks. He's bored, but pretending to enjoy himself, seemingly just for the immediate social benefit.
Is he like this when it's just him and Caleb?
I will say only because you got a nat 20, you think you've definitely caught it once or twice. Like when he thought you were looking away and you looked back quicker than he expected. There was a certain just tired air to him.
Is everything okay?
What?
You just seem tired.
I'm alright, just been kind of busy lately. All that nothing you've got me doing, real exhausting. You can see Bernard kind of scowl a little bit.
Caleb will... Alright, Caleb's gonna suggest that he and Dimitri go for a little walk away from the bar. Hey, Caleb's like, I need some fresh air.
Alright. Hey, don't wait up for us, you two. Ryutai just wordlessly raises a thing of cider and knocks it back. Bernard giving a wave to you, Caleb, although still suspiciously glancing. Eventually, the two of you break away enough to where you're confident you won't be overheard. And beating you to the punch a bit, Dimitri kind of sighs a bit and... I'm telling you I'm fine. It's just been a long week.
Look, I'm not, like, upset or anything. I just... Ever since I started paying some attention lately, I can't shake this feeling and that I'm being lied to.
You have your father back for only a few days and he's already getting inside your head.
Well, it didn't start that way. I do love you a lot. And I intended on just confirming that. But that's the problem. I'm not getting the confirmation I'm looking for. And so I just want to know the truth, whatever it is. Please, I've spent a long time having people lying to me. Telling me they feel one way when they don't. I'm tired of it. If there's anything you need to say, I need you to be honest with me.
I do love you, Caleb. But not the way you love me.
Oh no.
What do you mean?
You want the truth? Your dad was right about me. I didn't see it at first. Honestly, I didn't until very recently. It was actually Zephyr that helped me figure it out. Zephyr, he's... You always tell me how difficult he is, but... Seeing all of you guys in the lodge... It just... Something about it hit close to home. I don't know. Seeing someone who's just like me. Quiet, smarter than most people think. And feeling like everyone's just waiting for them to make a mistake. I always thought maybe just you were different, but now I'm starting to wonder if maybe I'm different. You remember what I told you whenever we first started seeing each other? You asked me what I liked about you, and I said it's because you reminded me of a puzzle box. Even if I got no closer to the answer, I kept wanting to play with it. I remember you always hated it whenever I used that. I didn't get why. I thought maybe you were just embarrassed about it, but I realized later that you don't play with people that you love. There's nothing you're getting out of it. At least nothing I understand. I thought you and we were just, you know, we stood to gain from each other. I couldn't see, you could. I knew the highways and where the best scores were, you didn't. And I was fine with that. I never really wanted anything else, but I don't know. After you came back and all of this and the Concord and the Icker, it started making me second guess things that I thought were normal. And I don't know if I'm brave or stupid or broken, but I'm never afraid whenever you leave me behind and go on your adventures. But I think if I were to leave the city, you would be afraid for me, wouldn't you?
Yes. Even when I know you're in the city and I'm not near you, I'm afraid.
See, that's what I mean. There's something wrong with me. I don't feel that. I don't feel the things that other people do. Your dad asked me once if being with you made me happy. And I told him I don't know what that feels like, so I can't tell you.
Is that why he doesn't like you?
He knows what's broken inside of me, I think. And whatever it is, he doesn't like it. He thinks I'll hurt you. Or that I'll get bored and wander away.
Would you?
I don't think so. But if you want the truth, I do love you. But only in the way someone like me can. In the way a Tabedran can.
No, I guess it's fine for you to feel the way you feel. There's no one way people are supposed to be.
I'm sorry that I can't be the person you need me to be. I can pretend, I can lie, but your eyes are too sharp for that. You know me too well.
I guess I just want to ask one thing. I'm not mad, I'm not upset, but I think in a way it could really tell me and maybe even you something. If I was just hypothetically, if I couldn't move forward with this, and we went separate ways, how would it make you feel? Just think about it. Really think about it.
I would
Would it
be.
affect you
Yes,
in any way?
yes, I think so. But
Do you? Is my whenever I know you say you're not afraid, but when I'm not around, do you feel that missing presence? Like something normally there isn't?
yes, yes, I do.
And as far as I'm concerned, even if you may express it differently, that is love. Your version of love.
I've heard people on the outside talk about love languages. Is this what they mean?
I guess in a way. Has Caleb heard of that?
I'll say you're familiar with the concept. But I'll tell you what, I'll let you roll. I'm going to actually call this an insight roll to see what you actually understand of the phrase.
How much
15.
insight today?
Caleb, you are indeed familiar with the term. You understand it perhaps a bit better than Dimitri does. There are all sorts of people, not just in the sense of elves and dwarves and ogres, but there are all sorts of people in the sense that even among a species there can be so many unique individuals who are completely different from one another. Some show their love in a more traditional manner, albeit exaggerated by circumstances. A doctor might nurse feelings for their assistant, but refuse to compromise their professional integrity or position, nor make their assistant uncomfortable by approaching them. An assistant to a brilliant doctor might follow them into all sorts of hellscapes to conduct research on disease just because they enjoy what they do, and more importantly, they enjoy who they get to do it with. Sometimes, Lucian, as you're out helping Dr. Knight with the catalyzation, for some, their love language is constant check-ins, sending you a sending spell every night to make sure you're still alive and winning that war. Sometimes, it takes the form of slower, more gradual messages. Like the Pidge that is currently carrying a letter and flying to you, Lucian. And you can see this sigil of Sun Dragon stamped upon it.
Okay. I guess I'll excuse myself from my work and I will go into another room to read it.
Sometimes, love languages take the form of daily visits and hangouts and asking the questions that the other person clearly needs to discuss with you but won't. And other times, it's the strength to admit that there's something different about you that means you can't love someone in the way that most would think of love. But love is also understanding of both itself and others. Even love spoken foreignly can be understood. Just like words spoken in sloppy, almost childish handwriting are still legible to a scholarly eye. As you head into another room, excusing yourself from the doctor's presence, and open up the letter to see a panicked garble that starts with two simple words. They're coming. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh,
Oh my god, I had one more thing Caleb
you
was going to
can't
say
do
to
this
me.
to me.
We'll just write it down. We can do it next week.
You can't do this to me.
Kind of like punctuated this.
I'm literally about to throw up. That's not nice.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who just got a letter from her girlfriend.
Yeah, not me, like tenderly opening it, like, what is she gonna say?
Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. Our podcasts are down for the moment as our RSS provider is changing, but those will be backups once that is resolved and updated. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/OddTornadoProductions. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link to be posted as well. On Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions. And follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd. The TNO are in fact capitalized if you want to get immediate updates whenever we go live. As well as updates on all of our other projects. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globe-trotting treasure hunters assembling the artifacts of the gods in a race against technology-worshipping cultists. Thanks everyone at the table so much for playing, thanks everyone at home so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.